My name is Ryan, and I never thought I would be the one to cut ties with my own parents. But after all they've done, I don't feel a moment's regret. For more than 5 years, I've been the one doing everything. Paying rent, utilities, grocery shopping, whatever they needed, I took care of. They always had excuses for their indifference. My dad has a herniated disc and can't do heavy lifting. My mom insists she's too old to work, even though she's only in her early 50s. And my sister Jenna never does any work. Jenna was the favorite child who could get into a lot of trouble, driving accidents, racking up debt, dropping out of school, but my parents defended her like she was a goddess. She's just finding herself, my mother would say. Everything will be fine. I, on the other hand, had to take matters into my own hands. Since I was 18, I've worked tirelessly to get where I am today. All-nighters, endless hours, endless sacrifices. And as I started to make my own progress, my parents started treating me like a walking ATM. It started with rent help, a few bills, then a steady monthly payment. After a while, they stopped asking. They just took it for granted. Families are meant to help each other, my mother would say whenever I hesitated. You're successful. Shouldn't you be able to afford it? For years, I lied to myself that they needed me, that I was doing the right thing, that one day they would thank me. But gratitude never comes, only greater demands. The final straw didn't come suddenly, but rather a series of small betrayals that slowly crushed me. It started when I got married. My wife, Claire, didn't say anything at first, but I could tell she wasn't happy with the way my parents treated me. She saw what I tried to deny. They didn't love me. They only loved what I could give them. Even after our daughter was born, they didn't change. I thought having a grandchild would make them more attentive, more connected, but Jenna was always their number one priority. My mother would cancel visits at the last minute because she needed her help with something important. My father hardly ever came to visit, and unless I invited him, they never paid any attention to my granddaughter. Then came a moment I couldn't take anymore. I had an important work event that I couldn't miss. Claire had to go on a business trip, and we just needed someone to watch the baby for one night. I called my mom, hoping she could help. She laughed, an unforgettable laugh, and said, "Oh, Ryan, we're not babysitters. We raised the baby. It's not our responsibility to take care of your baby." I don't remember how I responded, but I remember feeling stabbed in the heart, staring at the blank wall, feeling like an idiot. For 5 years, I paid their bills, made sure they didn't have to worry, and the one time I needed a little help, they treated me like crap. I wished that was the end of it, but it got a lot worse. I sat there, phone still in hand, replaying the conversation in my head. Maybe I had misheard, maybe Mom didn't mean it that way, but deep down, I knew it was true. The years of abuse, the endless excuses, the way they put Jenna on a pedestal, and me as a walking wallet, it was all coming to light now. But I needed to hear it from them, to face them, to look them in the eye and make it clear. I drove to their house. The drive was short, but my mind was racing the entire way. I wasn't sure what to say when I saw them. I wasn't a person who would get angry or shout, but something was boiling inside me, a pent-up anger that had been waiting to be released. When I got to their house, my hands shaking, I took a deep breath, opened the car door, and walked over to knock. At first, no one answered, but I knocked harder and heard a noise inside. The door opened a crack, and my father appeared, looking as surprised as if he had seen a stranger. "Ryan?" he said, sounding as if I had come unannounced. I ignored the meaningless pleasantries and walked straight into the house. Did I hear you correctly? Mom said you couldn't babysit for me for the night because we're not your servants? My mother sat on the old sofa, looking unapologetic, just a little annoyed as she looked at me. Ryan, you're exaggerating, she said. Suddenly, a childish laugh came from the hallway. I turned to see that it was Jenna's child, my sister. My parents were babysitting her grandchild. My heart sank to the bottom. My mother noticed my expression and immediately went into defensive mode. Ryan, this is different. I remained strangely calm and asked, how is it different? Explain it to me. My father, who never had a clear opinion, sighed and rubbed his temples. Jenna has a bad headache, she just needs to rest. I looked at him in disbelief. Headache? I repeat, she has a headache, so you guys dropped everything to look after her grandchild, and when I, who have taken care of all your expenses for the past 5 years, asked to look after the grandchild for just one night, you guys said, I already raised the child. My mother frowned as if I was exaggerating. Ryan, Jenna is pampered in every way. I snapped back, my voice hard. And I am just an object. Her face immediately stiffened. That's not fair. We are so grateful to you. I sneered coldly. Gratitude? I don't feel it. Suddenly, Jenna appeared in the hallway, rubbing her eyes as if she had just woken up. What's going on? Why are you screaming so loudly? When she saw me, she groaned. Oh my God, are you up to something again? I turned to look at her, gritting my teeth. You're unbelievable. She crossed her arms, smirking. You think paying a few bills is heroic? If you weren't so stressed, your parents wouldn't have to choose sides. Something inside me snapped. I felt the coldness fall into place, like the last piece of a puzzle. I had spent my life seeking love and respect from people who had never wanted to give it to me. And now, standing in the living room, watching them care for Jenna, then mock me, I saw the truth. I was done. I sighed, stared at them. Okay, I get it. Then I turned and walked out. I didn't slam the door. I didn't yell. I didn't give them any more of my time. But as I drove away, my phone started ringing. Mom, then Dad, then Jenna. I didn't answer. And that was just the beginning. I let all those calls go, letting them struggle in their panic. I was no longer going to waste time being manipulated by them. When I got home, Claire had returned from her business trip, sitting on the sofa with her daughter fast asleep. She looked at me and knew something was wrong. What happened? She asked softly. I sat down next to her, stroked her hair, and told her everything. They were taking care of Jenna instead of my grandchild. Claire sat there stiffly for a moment. Are you kidding? I shook my head. Number Jenna had a headache, so they dropped everything to help. But when I asked for just one night, they laughed. She sighed, shaking her head in disbelief. Ryan, you know it hurts, but maybe it's a good thing. Now you know for sure. She was right. I knew it. I wasn't their first choice, just their financial safety net. It was clear as day. I wasn't going to do that role again. The next morning, I sprang into action. First thing I did was call my bank and cancel all automatic payments for rent, utilities, car insurance, everything. When I was done, I sent them a short text. You're on your own from now on. I didn't explain, didn't argue, just hit send and blocked them. Within an hour, chaos began. Claire and I were having breakfast when our work emails and phones rang nonstop. Claire's phone rang as well. Even though I blocked them, they wouldn't let up. I sighed and opened the email my mom sent me, with the subject line, Are you serious? The content was as expected. Ryan, I don't know what's wrong with you. This is ridiculous. Families help each other. You can't cut us off like this. We have bills to pay, your dad's health is not good, and Jenna is struggling. I can't believe you're so selfish after all we've done for you. I snickered. What did they do to me? Giving birth to me is the end of it. That's the end of their help. Before I could think further, Claire's phone rang again, frowning at the screen. Jenna, I whispered. Let it go to voicemail. But then Jenna's message came in. Claire held up the phone for me to see. Wow, are you serious? You're playing dirty with your parents just because you can't have one night. Grow up, Ryan. I gritted my teeth, knowing that Jenna would twist the truth and make me out to be the bad guy. I stood up and paced the kitchen. Let them panic, let them scream. I don't care anymore. Claire smiled proudly. Good, they don't deserve another second of your time. For the first time in years, I felt free. But the drama wasn't over. 3 days later, I heard a knock on the door. I looked through the crack in the door and almost laughed. It was my parents, tears in their eyes. I stared at them for a long time, my stomach aching. They stood outside my house, looking miserable. My mother had tears in her eyes. My father stood beside her, rubbing his temples as if he were in terrible trouble. Part of me felt sorry for them, but then I remembered all the times they took advantage of me, all the bills I paid, all the sacrifices Jenna had made while she was worshipped for nothing. I remembered my mother's mocking laugh when she mocked me for daring to ask them to babysit for one night. A fire lit in my heart. I took a deep breath and opened the door with a bang. As soon as my mother saw me, she rushed in and said, Ryan, thank God we tried to contact you. I crossed my arms and leaned against the door frame. Yeah, I know. My father walked over, looking tired and disappointed. Ryan, son, we need to talk, I replied coldly. No, you guys need to talk. My mother clutched her chest as if stabbed. How can you be so cruel? We're family. I laughed dryly. Now we're family. It's funny because when I needed a night out, you laughed at me. But when Jenna had a headache, you rolled out the red carpet for her. My mother's face twisted into a frown. It's not fair. It's not fair, I yelled. It's not fair that I paid all your bills for 5 years while Jenna did nothing. It's not fair that I went out of my way to help you and you just treat me like an invisible person while she gets to be your favorite. You can cry all you want, but I've seen the truth. My dad sighed, his eyes tired, then shook his head. Ryan, we appreciate everything you've done for us. I sneered, my voice sarcastic. No, you're just grateful for my money. That made them shut up immediately. My mom's face crumpled, her eyes brimming with tears. We didn't think you were really like this, she said, quickly wiping away her tears. You've always been responsible and kind to us. We thought you would calm down and find a way to fix things. I gritted my teeth, my voice sharp. Fix what, Mom? That you took advantage of me, manipulated me into paying for everything while Jenna didn't do anything? That you treated me like a worthless object while she was treated like a fragile egg, like a princess? My mother choked and sobbed. We didn't take advantage of you. We just relied on you a little too much. I shook my head bluntly. It's not just relying on you, it's exploiting you. You guys made me feel guilty, made me believe that taking care of you was my responsibility. But it's not. You guys are adults. If you can't pay back, it's none of my business. My dad, who was used to making peace between conflicts, scratched his head, looking disappointed. Come on, Ryan. Don't make a big deal out of it. We just need a little help. I turned to look at the old car parked in the yard and said coldly, Then maybe you should ask Jenna. Wait, She's never helped anyone before. No one said anything. They knew I was right. I took a deep breath, trying to calm myself. I'm done, really done this time. No more money, no more help. You'll have to fend for yourself like I did. My mother wanted to argue, but I turned and walked into the house, slamming the door behind me. I leaned against the door, my heart pounding, my breathing rapid. Outside, they whispered in panic, my mother sobbing, my father sighing and stepping into the yard, arguing softly before getting in the car and driving away. I stood there, letting it all sink in. For the first time in my life, I had truly set a limit, and it felt liberating, but I knew it wasn't over. The next morning, my phone buzzed so hard it drove me crazy. At first, I thought it was just a work notification, but when I turned it on, I saw dozens of texts, missed calls, even Facebook tags. My stomach churned. I opened the first message from my cousin Jenna. Damn it, Ryan. Have you seen what I posted on Facebook? My heart sank as I clicked on the link. It took me to my mom's Facebook page, the latest post. It pains me to say this, but sometimes the people closest to us turn their backs on us. My daughter, the one I raised, cared for, and loved unconditionally, abandoned our family when we needed her the most. After all we did for her, she thought we weren't worth it anymore. I never thought I'd see the day when my daughter would treat her parents like a burden, like trash to be thrown away. But money changes people, and it hurts. Now she's gone, while we have no one to turn to. I wish she had a heart as big as her bank account. I stared at the screen, sighing in frustration. The comments below were even worse. I can't believe a daughter would treat her mother like that. What child would ever appreciate their parents? How despicable. After all the sacrifices their parents made, she should be ashamed. Jenna will come looking for her. Just you wait. I scrolled down the page, my face burning. My mother had twisted the whole truth, creating an image of a poor, heartbroken mother, abandoned by her selfish daughter. Her Facebook friends, mostly curious neighbors, church members, and distant relatives who didn't know who I was, all agreed and responded. Then when I thought things couldn't get any worse, I read Jenna's comment. I never meant to say anything, but I know she only thinks about herself. Mom and Dad gave her everything, and this is what she gives back. It's disgusting. That was the final straw. I wasn't angry anymore. I was furious. I picked up the phone and called my mother. She picked up almost immediately, as if she had been waiting for my call. "Oh, you want to talk now?" Her voice was sweet as honey, but incredibly fake. "Are you kidding?" I snapped. "What the hell is that Facebook post, Mom? I can't believe it. I just stood up for my rights and my mother ran off to complain on Facebook. It's like a victim scenario." She trembled. "I'm the victim. Your mother and father are miserable, while you live a happy life, and you're fine with abandoning them." She cried again. "I just can't believe my daughter is so cold." I gritted my teeth, gripping the phone so tightly that my hand hurt. "If you're miserable, why were you babysitting Jenna's child yesterday? She can't even take care of her own child and is living a peaceful life while my love and money are stolen." My mother hesitated and then sneered. "Jenna is different. She's not financially stable like you, and she doesn't betray her family like you." That was the last straw. I sighed, trying to keep my cool. "Post whatever you want, say whatever you want, but I hope you realize you've blown any chance you'll ever have of getting help again." She softened. "Oh, honey, don't be like that. I love you." I laughed dryly. "No, Mom, I love control, and now I've lost it." Then I hung up. I sat there staring at my phone screen, my insides still boiling. Notifications were popping up. Messages from relatives, old friends, even a few old school friends asking how I was doing. Then a thought occurred to me. If my mother wanted to play dirty, I could play smarter. Taking a deep breath, I opened Facebook and started typing. I didn't yell or curse. I just told the truth. I had been paying for my family for years, while my sister did nothing. I asked for help once and they refused, but then immediately gave all their attention to my sister, which they said was not their responsibility because they weren't maids. I pressed post, not knowing what to expect, but bracing myself for any reaction. And as I expected, the comments came immediately. Not just from close friends, but also from distant relatives, people I had thought I had forgotten about. Some sympathized, angry on my behalf. Some were surprised that things had gotten so bad. A few tried to remain neutral, advising me to preserve my relationship, but most sided with me, condemning my parents' unfair treatment. Not long after, my sister appeared in the comments section with a sarcastic comment. "I can't believe you embarrassed your parents like that. What kind of family is that?" It was bitter that the person who said those words was someone who only knew how to enjoy life without making any effort or sharing any responsibility, while I was the one who shouldered everything. I did not respond, nor did I need to argue. Others spoke up in my defense, clearly pointing out the family's bias and hypocrisy. Soon, messages came from my parents. "How dare you do this to us? Do you know how embarrassed we are?" "Take that post down immediately," my dad said. "Families shouldn't treat each other like this." Now they started talking about family, loyalty, respect, the very things they had used me for all those years, using me like an ATM and ignoring me when I needed the least help. I didn't reply. Instead, I blocked everyone, my mom, my dad, and my sister. The heavy feeling in my heart was suddenly lifted. No more guilt, no more obligation, no more being manipulated into believing that love had to be measured by money. I thought I would be sad, I would regret, but sitting in the silence of the small house, holding my little daughter in my arms, I only felt peace. For the first time in my life, I was truly free. What do you think? Am I doing it right?